Will on 531 VI.
This is Pacific Mornings. It's great to have your company this Thursday. Now, the government has announced 4 new Whānau Ora commissioning agencies to ensure continued support for families with high needs. Now, these include agencies covering different regions of the North and South Islands, as well as the Tātou Collective or the Cause Collective, which will specifically commission Whānau Ora services for Pasifika families. Whānau Ora Minister Tama Potaka joins me this morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, kia ora, Whānau Ora. It's a pretty blustery day out there.
Certainly is. Hey, look, before we get into the specifics of it, I just firstly want to reflect on now that there is this overhaul of Whānau Ora, is it an admission perhaps that the previous agencies, more specifically for us, including Pasifika Futures, simply weren't delivering?
No, it's not. I acknowledge the incumbent agencies, including Pasifika Futures, Whānau Ora Commissioning Agency, and also Tahitanga operating out of Te Waipana in the South Island, who have done a remarkable job in engaging with whānau over the past decade. We have gone for a refresh in terms of what we're looking for and some additional criteria, and it's gone through a procurement process accordingly, and 4 new commission agencies have popped out of that process.
I suppose then to that point, if the outgoing providers were doing a good job, why disrupt services to whānau who rely on them?
Well, my expectation is that there'll be a smooth transition between the incumbent agencies and the new agencies, and that everyone will be invested in that smooth transition, whether or not they are agencies or providers and navigators, or indeed others who are highly invested in Whānau Ora. Our key message is that we really back Whānau Ora as a government, and that's why you saw last year in the budget nearly $180 million committed to the Whānau Ora kaupapa every year for the next 4 years.
Is this just a reshuffle of funding and branding, or will there be real tangible accountability to this in terms of measurable outcomes under this new model?
Well, as I mentioned earlier before, we have refreshed some of the criteria around the procurement. The procurement hadn't been undertaken for many, many years, over 10 years, or nearly 10 years, in fact. And typically in procurement of this nature, it does take place every 4, 5, 6 years. We had a bit of a break, COVID and a few other items got in the way. But we've gone through that process, and part of our expectation is there's a little bit more alignment between the provision of Whānau Ora and the relevant evidence and data gathering and the social investment kaupapa, which Minister Willis, the Minister of Social Investment, Minister of Finance, has bravely articulated over the last 18 months. So there are some additional expectations and requirements around data uploads, and we want to see more navigators on the ground, hence why there is a expectation around navigator numbers that are increased from the incumbent situation.
There's also talk in the media release of, say, greater community participation. Was what was perhaps missing under the old structure? And, I mean, how will this change that in practice?
Yeah, we will have what are loosely described as investment boards or investment committees that are going to include members of the community who aren't necessarily tied up with the commission agencies. They'll be involved in articulating where they see the needs are. That's the space that we're in with that particular matter. But the key message, William, is that we are very supportive of Whānau Ora. It is one of the programs that is run out of government and supported by government that has a genuinely progressive, evidence-based delivery of public services. And as we know, Whānau Ora isn't the ordinary delivery of government services. It is done in a much more tikanga-oriented or Māori-oriented or Pasifika tikanga-oriented way.
Yeah, to that point, I just want to go back to the fact that we've got the Cause Collective now that's pursuing this. What's your opinion on the Cause Collective?
Well, I'm looking forward to them taking over as the commissioning agency for the Pasifika Rohe or the Pasifika region. I don't know everything about the Cause Collective, but obviously the procurement's taken place through and under the delegations at Te Puni Kōkiri. But Te Puni Kōkiri has, along with the other agencies involved, assured me that the processes necessary for credible procurement have taken place. Te Tātou Collective or the Cause Collective have popped out. I know of some of their mahi that they've done in the past, but I'm ensconced in the operations itself. But I'm looking forward to seeing Rachel Anosa and her team connect with credible providers to deliver the type of navigation services required, and of course to help vulnerable and needy whānau, because that's where it's at. That's what Whānau Ora is all about.
Look, not to keep twisting the knife here, but I suppose what specific failings are you aware of that led to Pasifika Futures losing its role here? Or was this merely just lost out because of the procurement process?
Oh, I didn't know you were talking about a knife, fork or spoon, mate. What I'm really focused on is making sure that as the Minister responsible for Whānau Ora, the appropriate processes have been followed, but also we secure the type of ministerial support needed, which we have done in last year's budget. We continue to focus on improving incrementally the delivery of Whānau Ora, and I think your concern probably is that Pasifika Futures and perhaps some of the other Whānau Ora agencies that are incumbent agencies have failed. I don't think so. I acknowledge their success, and you would have seen many reviews and audits that have gone through taking a look at the incumbents and said actually some things are going really, really well, and there's a bit of room for improvement under that version of Whānau Ora 1.0. We're sort of in the space where we have refreshed the expectations of Whānau Ora. That aligns with social investment, and we're moving forward. What I want to see now as the Minister is a smooth transition between the agencies and making sure that the commissioning agencies that have been selected for 4 regions are absolutely determined to serve whānau in need.
So when does this transition take place?
Well, the transition is underway now, but the services for the new commissioning agencies start on 1 July 2025. There is an exiting process, an offboarding process for those incumbent agencies, and my expectation is Tawini Kōkiri will undertake that in a meaningful and deliberate and genuine way. I also anticipate that many of the providers and navigators who were engaged through the incumbent agencies, such as Pasifika Futures, will be re-engaged under the Cause Collective and the new agencies. But let's wait and see for that. What I want to see right now is that smooth transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look, before I let you go, just a fun one to end on. I see Audrey Young gave cabinet rankings today. Were you pleased with your performance? Deserved better because you are fiercely loyal.
Well, I'm a loyal person, but I'm also pretty determined about my own protocols, tikanga behaviour and views, and very supportive of the Prime Minister, and also as a member of the National Party. Don't take too much time looking at the rankings. What I'm really focused on is ensuring support for not only my own agencies, but also communities, whānau, iwi, organisations that are doing good things to generate outcomes alongside whānau and for the whenua.
Yeah, no, good on you. That is Whānau Ora Minister Tama Potaka. Thank you very much for your time. You have a good day, eh?
Ngā mihi e hoa, ka kite anō.